Hi, everybody. Welcome to my virtual classroom. My wife, Tara, is holding the phone. She's a first grade teacher, so there's two of us working in this space right here, which is a little bit of a challenge. I want to show you a few things that I use. First off, you'll notice I have my laptop set up and I have my iPad set up. The reason why I do that is so that I can put the kids' chat up here and read their questions as they come, while at the same time showing my desktop here. I have a lot of trouble popping back and forth between programs and reading the chat and presenting and what have you. Having only known me for a few minutes, you can probably tell that's the case already. So I just love having the chat right here and having what I'm working on right here on my desktop. I can also click around on the iPad and see particular students or whatever I need to do. Having those two technologies going on at once is great. I invested $20 at Staples in a wireless keyboard and mouse. Boy, has that made a difference. If you've used a laptop, you know that these guys are really hard to use, the keyboard and the mouse. So this $20 investment from Staples was really nice. The batteries last forever. My wife and I have this Belkin device right here. I'm going to show you more about this in just a minute, where you can get one. You can place your iPad on it, and what it enables you to do is write on it, and your kids see what you write. So there's a way to kind of teach virtually using that, and we'll talk about that more in just a second. This device is really what made it happen for me as a math teacher. This is called an InnerWrite pad. Some people call it a Mobi pad. This technology was huge a few years ago, and most districts bought them. I would be willing to bet your district has some on a shelf somewhere for you to use. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. That's my virtual classroom. That's how we have it set up. Obviously, a power cord to plug all these devices in. Okay, Tara, if you could go ahead and end that, I'll take back over here. Let's look at these technologies real quick. I'm on Amazon. You could get this stuff anywhere, like through Belkin. This particular price, I think, is too high. We're looking at my computer desktop right now. This is that Belkin device that I was telling you about. I showed you the one that we have. We actually signed this out through the district. So check with your district. They may have one. It's got this handy dandy little light so you can see what you're writing and the kids can see it better. It's kind of nice. So you can see it's kind of pricey. I'm going to show you the ePad in just a second. It'll handle any tablet or smartphone, so you can do it with your smartphone as well. This morning in one of my many, many online meetings, our principal said that he expects that when we go back to school in the fall, we will have some portion of our teaching distance online. They are talking about something like we're in the classroom 1 to 2 days a week, and then we're teaching online the other days. The reason they want to do that is to limit the number of students that are in the facility at once. They are trying to get classroom sizes down so they can spread the kids out a little bit more. What that tells me, and the reason I'm sharing it with you, is that spending a little time getting your technology together and learning how to use it and whatnot, it's going to pay off. It's not just the kind of thing that's going to help you get through these next few weeks or month and a half. It's something that's going to help you on into next year. I've also heard that Cal State Fullerton is intending to go online for the fall semester as well.
Oh, wow. Rogelio asks, what's the name of the ePad you're using to write? And I'll type it out for everyone.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up.
Great.
So this first device that I'm showing you is, they call it a tablet stage or tablet stage stand. And Belkin makes it, plus a lot of other companies. This is if you want to basically do it with a computer and an iPad or any tablet. It could be a Samsung tablet or a Microsoft Surface or whatever kind of tablet you have. It works really, really nice. So there's one device. There's a cheaper version of it from the same company. This one's $87. Not quite as nice, but it would work just fine. If you just Google tablet stage, you will see that a ton of these things pop up from various different companies to accomplish the job. Here's one for $42. So scroll through, find the one you like. The one that I would, kind of give you my testimonial on is this Belkin B2B054. It's a really good one, but it is not cheap. If you're investing for your future, I think it might be worth it to do it because it just makes the online teaching so easy. Okay. Let's look at the next thing that I wanted to show you here. And that's the inner right pad, the Mobi pad. Here it is on Amazon for $218, which isn't bad. That's pretty good price. This is the exact one that I have right here. E-Instruction is the name of the company, and
Andy,
they call.
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Can you actually share your Amazon screen? Would you be okay doing that so we could see it?
Yeah. Oh, you guys aren't seeing the Amazon screen?
We're still seeing the whiteboard, so
Oh,
that's
no,
okay.
no, no,
Sometimes
no,
Zoom
no.
does that. Go ahead and reshare.
No. Yes, let's do that. I'm sorry, guys. I thought you were looking at the Amazon screen the whole
No,
time.
that's okay. It happens to me too. Don't worry.
When
Perfect.
we did the dry run earlier, it gave me an option to share everything. And so I didn't have to switch back and forth. Maybe because of the size of the meeting or something, it's not allowing that now. I don't know.
No,
But,
it's okay. The same issue today too, so don't worry.
okay, well, let me just pop back then to that Belkin so you can see it on Amazon. Here's the Belkin unit, the B2B054 tablet stage. And this seller is offering it for $198. You can see the light that it has, and there's the stand for any tablet. Let me show you the smaller version of it from the same company. This is the B2B118. And like I said, if you just type in Amazon tablet stage, all of these pop up, including from other manufacturers. So, and this one will work just fine as well.
And it looks
Okay.
like these are ergonomic, right? So it actually is good for your posture and everything else. So it's protecting you.
Well, those two are designed to sit on your desktop or on your table. The one that I use, you carry around with me. And that's this next one I'm going to show you. Here it is. Hopefully you can see it now. This is from E-Instruction. You can see the lowercase e and then instruction. And it's called a Mobi View. And Workspace is the name of the software that comes along with it. It's really, I think, mostly tailored towards math teachers, but all teachers, I feel like, would appreciate using math tools in here, compass and protractor and line drawing tools and graphing tools and what have you. It's really nice. What I love about it versus an iPad is it's super, super durable. I mean, you could take this thing out and play kickball with it, and it's going to take it, whereas an iPad won't take a ton of abuse. The battery will last a week when they're new. I mean, if you forget to charge it, you can go all week long using it. And what you do is you write in this lined area, and it slings it to your projector in your classroom. And what I'm doing it with it, here, let me change the sharing here back to this thing. What I'm doing now is instead of just slinging it to my projector, you're just looking at my computer desktop. Over here on the right, I have the tools that I can use to do various different things. One of my favorite tools is this capture tool. So let's say that I want to capture an image to do math with it. I pull up whatever image I want. It could be from a digital textbook or from a worksheet PDF or whatever, and I just highlight it. And when I let go, boom, it pastes it in. And now I have the ability to write over it. Let me, since we're mostly math teachers in here, let me give you guys an example of this. I am gonna pull up like a PDF file of one of our textbooks real quick and let you guys see that working.
So have you found this has really changed your teaching?
Oh,
at least virtually.
Handy in the classroom, but obviously for this learning, it's been a game changer. Okay, I pulled up our PDF textbook. I'm going to switch real quick so you can see. Okay, this is a PDF file. All of your textbooks should be able to you should be able to find the PDF version of them through your school district somewhere. So let's say we're working on this particular page in our textbook. We use Carnegie, and I want to work this problem over here on the left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my inner right tool, and because I can't share both screens, you won't see this, but I can come over and highlight this thing, and then what it does is it captures it back into where my inner right pad is. So let me go back to that one so you can see that, and boom, there's our problem. And now when I just switch to my stylus, I write on this plastic board, and I can start to work this right here and do it kind of handy. What I like to do is I like to pre-set up my lessons. You can set up as many pages as you want. And then, so let's say this first one I was working on, there's page 1, and this is page 2, and here's page 3, here's page 4. I can set all of those up in advance for my entire lesson. And so what I do is I open to page 1. That's usually notes. In fact, I can show you today's. Let me do that. The one that we were doing today. That'll be nice. Today I was working with my pre-calculus class on vectors. So I'm going to open the actual save file that I used.
Oh, you missed again.
Okay, you should see it pop up in just a second. There we go. So I pre-wrote some notes for the kids. My kids already know that they write down what's in black. They don't have to write down what's in red. The stuff that's in red is just me getting them to think a little bit. And it also serves as a reminder to remind me what we're talking about. So I set up the homepage on notes. I had my practice problems just written next to me. So when I went to the very next page, I was able to put up some practice problems here and say, okay, guys, let's look at vector B and start to work with that. So this is the InterWrite pad. Like I said, it's got a lot of preloaded math tools in there, from line drawing tools to compass and protractor and all those things. Here, let's pull up. Here's a ruler. If you want to measure something. If you want to measure an angle, there's a built-in protractor.
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
So it's pretty nice. And in my classroom, it slings it to the projector. I save a lot of money on whiteboard markers. And also the kids can just see it better no matter where they're at. Probably my favorite thing about this InterWrite pad is that it enables me to walk around the classroom while I teach. I'm not tethered to the whiteboard. I'm not tethered to a document camera at my desk or an Elmo or something like that. So I have my classroom set up with some aisles that allow me to walk around while I'm teaching, and I find that that comes in pretty handy.
That's cool.
So there's a little bit about the technology. If you don't want to invest in this InterWrite pad here, while I finish talking about it, I'll pull it back up so you guys can see it. Let me go back to Amazon here. There you go. So if you don't want to invest this kind of money and you already have an iPad, this exact same process can be done with an iPad and a stylus. Now, doing that from home is probably fine because you're going to be sitting at your table and not walking around. I have tried that in the classroom with not very good success. It doesn't quite write as quickly, as neatly. It doesn't have the tools. I can save the files that I write in the classroom and upload them to our digital classroom, and the kids can look at them later on. So the notes are already there for them. There's just a lot more flexibility with the e-instruction MobiView workspace than there is with an iPad. But I mentioned the iPad simply because if you don't want to invest in this and you have an iPad already, there's all kinds of apps and software available to let you do this exact same thing. You'll write on your iPad with a stylus, and it will present it on your computer desktop. Okay, that's pretty much it on technology. Let's, the hardware, I should say. Let's look at the software that we're using. I think most of you are probably familiar with Aries. Aries, I have found, is not ideal for operating your class using this as the platform. Now, I continue to use this as my main grading system simply because that's what the school does. So whatever the kids are doing in my other platforms, I'm migrating the grades over to here. The one thing I do a lot, and this helps, down under Teacher Miscellaneous, we have send emails. It gives me the ability to email particular students, particular class periods, or everyone, including the parents. And I am in the habit of sending an email, a blast email, 10 to 15 minutes before each online class. I meet in 2 sections. I meet with my Math 2-3 honor students on Tuesdays live, and I meet with my pre-calculus students on Wednesdays live. And I meet with them by individual period. Now, I'm also meeting with them by making videos and whatnot. And I'm meeting with them during my office hours twice a week as well. So they have 3 times a week, they have an opportunity to meet with me live, once for instruction, the 2 other opportunities just to get questions answered. And then I'm using videos to do the bulk of the teaching. But the trick to getting good attendance is 10 minutes before each one of my classes start, I make sure that I send out a blast email. And I just wanted to show you that real quick. Okay, so let's see how things look in Mr. Barrow's classroom. Aries is not ideal. It just isn't really set up to be like a virtual or remote classroom. So you have 2 options, at least. You have Google Classroom, which is super popular, super common. I love it. If I had a choice, that would be the one that I would use. But our school district said, nope, you have to use Schoology. We want to use Schoology because it has all of our Big Brother stuff in it where we can watch you and see what you guys are up to. So this is basically my virtual classroom. This is the homeroom. And in my introductory videos and whatnot, I gave an explanation to the kids of what we're using it for. Every week I post what's going on. So week 1 and what its dates were, and week 2, week 3, week 4. There's a gap here because we had spring break. And what I do in those weeks is I put an agenda. This has worked out really well for the kids. They can print it off. And in my agenda, I like to make sure they know what they're doing each day of the week. Hey, this is what I'm expecting you to do today. This is what I'm expecting you to do tomorrow and the next day, all the way through. I leave the information in here on how to access each of the technologies that they use, including how to get on Google Meet. And I have my class codes on here that they can use to log into. So if they forget them, that's information is always there. They can go back and look. So there's the agenda for each week. I also like to do some kind of a intro video. This is my week 2 introductory video. Videos work best if you upload them to Google Drive first. This video, I put it on Google Drive and then migrated it over to Schoology. That's also true if you're using Google Classroom. We'll upload it to Google Drive, then link it from Google Drive. It's just a better way to do things. So the kids are gonna watch my week 2 video, and during the video, I'm gonna communicate whatever I need to communicate with them. I also like to do a video to wrap up the week. I don't always get a chance to do this. I usually like to make this one kind of a silly one for the kids. This particular one, I'm telling them how I got some cabin fever and going surfing in my hot tub in the backyard because I'm bored. The baby and I are doing that. So just to keep them interested in getting what kind of shenanigans is Mr. Barrow up to today. I've shot videos with me working on cars and everything else. So that's kind of fun. I've gotten some good feedback from the kids with doing stuff like that. So that's our baby that we're adopting right there, baby Evelyn. She had a traumatic brain injury when she was about 7 weeks old, and she's really been a blessing for us. So week 2, they have an agenda. They have an intro video that I post at the beginning of the week, a wrap-up video that I post at the end of the week. I don't always do the wrap-up video, only as I see that I need it. This particular week, they were studying logarithms. And I put a how-to video on how to do change of base for them to use. Back on the homepage for the course, I posted a video on how to use their cell phone calculator. I don't know if you're aware of this. The cell phone calculator, if you turn it sideways, becomes a scientific calculator, and most kids don't know how to use that. So I posted a YouTube video there showing them how to do it. Because I get emails all the time. Students are like, Mr. Barrow, I don't know how to punch this in my calculator. And I'll just refer them to that video and save myself some time.
Can you use that for pre-calculus too?
No, the cell phone calculator is not the best idea. And that's a conversation we've had all throughout the year. I do not allow kids to use cell phone calculators in my classroom at all. They need to learn to use a scientific calculator. However, I teach at a Title I school. Most of my kids can't afford to go out and buy a TI-84.
Yep.
Or some equivalent. Even a regular scientific calculator is tough for some of them. We didn't have enough to sign out calculators to everyone. So in this particular time, using the cell phone calculator is just simply a workaround.
Absolutely.
I know someone put, but they can afford an iPhone. I know. I know.
Well, even my own children, they share a very expensive calculator, and they pass it in the halls to regular school. Now, at least they can share it a lot more easily. So I get that.
Yeah. Someone put on here, have them download the Desmos app. I did. I should have mentioned that. Thank you, Michelle, for reminding me. I also have GeoGebra on there. When I say I don't allow cell phone calculators in my classroom, I don't allow the calculator, but I do, when invited to do so, I do allow them to bring out their phones to use GeoGebra and Desmos for graphing, to check their graphs in particular. I'm pretty particular about cell phones. I lock them up in my classroom, even if they're just checking the time. So a student will never have a cell phone out of my classroom without my permission. So I'll tell them, hey guys, go ahead and graph these. And when you're all done, if you want to pull out your phone and check your graph on Desmos or GeoGebra, you're welcome to do that. So the kids are familiar with that. But to me, using an app like Desmos or GeoGebra is different than using a cell phone calculator. And I say that because the apps are more similar to actual technology that they might be using. Okay, so let's go back to what our weeks look like here. So we were playing around in the week 2 folder. So the logarithm change of base video, my beginning of the week video and end of the week video, my agenda. Here's the assignment. Now, the assignment on Schoology is literally just a place for them to turn something in. That's all it is. It's just a place where they can upload a picture of their work. I've even taken this a step further, and on many of our homework assignments, they're doing them on Khan Academy. I even stopped having them do it. Here we see a student, Vanessa, that turned in an assignment by uploading it. Let's take a look at it. It's a screenshot to some work that she did on Khan Academy. And I kind of realized, you know what? I don't need that. I can get that off of Khan Academy. So the only time I actually need them to upload anything is if I'm having them do some kind of a handwritten assignment. That happens a little bit more in my pre-calculus class. Let me switch to that, and we'll look at some examples for that. So here's some worksheets that I sent for them to do. We'll pull this up and look at some sample assignments here. Rosa, here's one of hers. I just have them take a picture and upload the picture. And there it is, showing the work that she's done. It's not the easiest thing in the world to grade, but it works. On homework assignments, I am mostly just grading upon whether they did it or not. I don't get real crazy there. Now, notice we don't see all of Rosa's worksheet. The best I can see is problem 7 to 14. There should have been another picture. She only uploaded 1 page. I had a pretty big problem with that happening. So what I did was I found one of my A students and I said, hey, do me a favor, make a video of how to upload an assignment on Schoology. And it's in this folder right here, uploading correctly to Schoology. And one of my students made this, and I gave him some extra credit for doing it. He made it and uploaded it to the Google Drive, and then I just migrated it over here. And here he's got a little how-to video step-by-step on how to do it. Kids are pretty savvy with technology, so he did it all on his cell phone too, which is nice. He used some apps that are free to do it. Once I had Jaden make that video and I shared it with everybody, all of a sudden the assignments that I got started looking a lot better. Students were turning in multi-page assignments. Here, I'll show you an example of that. Let's see here. I think the last textbook assignment was, yeah, week 3. This is one I actually talked about before we left. So see if we can find a student with multiple. Yeah, here we go. So Kelly, she's turned in all 3 pages of her homework here. And in Schoology, I can look through that. And I made this assignment worth 12 points. So you see that at the top, I just put in the 12 points and it throws it into the Schoology gradebook. And then when I'm ready to do this, I don't do it every day. I can go to my gradebook in Schoology and just look at their scores here and just type them into Aries. I can actually print this off, which makes it easy. And then I just have these assignments mimicked in Aries so I can copy them over. I don't really want to run 2 gradebooks, but I want the convenience of being able to grade in Schoology as I'm looking at it, and then at some later date go back. So these ones that are gray over here are assignments from Schoology that I have not copied over. Incidentally, these are good kids. See all this orange right here? This is how things were looking as we were leaving. These assignments were due as this COVID-19 thing was breaking out, and you can see a lot of kids were missing. So I've had to be real flexible on that. So that's Schoology. Schoology is basically, just think of it as like your homeroom class. And that's what I'm using it for. I combine my periods. So periods 1, 2, and 3 are all in this. And periods 4 and 5 are here. And that works out pretty well. So Schoology is like your homeroom classroom. All right, now let's look at the math itself and where we're going to do that. The one that I like most is Khan Academy. Overall, I don't know that I'm completely nuts about like the videos. Sal Khan is a really nice guy. If you use Google Classroom, you can import grades directly into Aries. I know, and I don't know if you recall, Tracy, at the beginning of this, I said if I had my choice, I'd use Google Classroom. For us, it would just be a third thing because the district is mandating we use Schoology. They're mandating it. And I think a big reason why is they can track what we do more easily, and they can track what our students do more easily than they can with Google Classroom. At my last district that I was in, they used Google Classroom. So going back to Khan Academy. So here's Khan Academy, and I basically have myself in here twice. I have myself as a student because I want to be able to see exactly what my students are seeing. And then I have myself in here as a teacher so that I can use the great tools that Khan Academy has available. Sal Khan's videos can be a little long, and he tends to kind of get off on tangents a little bit. My students don't love him. I've gotten overwhelming feedback that they like me better than him. I think a lot of that is they're just used to me, and I know what they already know. So what I tend to do during the week is assign on Monday and give videos and whatnot. On Tuesday and Wednesdays, I teach. And what I do is I just teach the foundation for the material. Like today, it was, what is a vector? What are the components of a vector? What does vector notation look like? How do you add vectors, subtract vectors? A lot of the conceptual stuff, not so much the procedural stuff. In doing that, the kids seem to get more out of the Khan Academy videos. So the kind of leapfrog goes like this. They look at it on Khan Academy on Monday. On Tuesday and Wednesday, they learn about it from me, and I'm doing the basics. Then on Thursday and Friday, I'm back online during office hours, letting the kids pop in one at a time or two at a time and ask me particular questions. I found doing it in this flow has really, really worked well. The students that are knowing what they're doing, they get it right away. The ones that need a little bit of help, they see it, then they hear me explain it, then they do it on their own. That works real well. And the students that are struggling, they're the ones that are coming into my office hours to get that help. So it's worked out really good. So here's Khan Academy. And let's say that I want to assign something for, I don't know, my my math honors class. By the way, our district calls it Math 4-5 instead of 2-3 because they're lame. I don't know any other way to say it. They decided that Math 1 was 7th grade math. Math 2 was 8th grade math. Math 3 was 9th grade math, and it's made it real confusing. So kids come into 9th grade in Math 3. And when I tell other teachers, I teach Math 3, they think I'm teaching integrated Math 3. This year, my district is going back to the old way. So if you see Math 4-5 on all of my stuff, that's 2-3. That's all it is. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's say that I want to assign something. I can go in here to where assign is at. And here's all my topics, okay? I can assign something from Math 2 or from Math 3. I have both classes queued up. Right now, we are working on logarithms, so I can open up logarithms here. I can open up introduction to logarithms. These symbols over here tell me this is a video, this is a document they read, these are practice problems, this is a video, these are practice problems, this is a video. That's what those icons mean. If I want to see, hey, what kind of practice problems, I can click on this and it'll pop up and it'll show me what the kids are looking at. I can even click to like student view here if I want to see it exactly like they see it. So there's the problem right there, and that way I'm prepared. If I like that assignment, I can just go over here to the right and I can put a check in that box. Hold on, I'm getting too click happy here. I can put a check in that box and that one will get assigned. Initially, I was kind of cheating a little bit, and I would just go up here to the logarithms and check it, and that checks everything when you do that. And I assigned it all because I was thinking, hey, man, what's wrong with them watching the videos? What's wrong with them reading the documents? It's great. Oh, man, did I get a lot of flack back from that. The kids were pretty upset. Khan makes them watch every single second of the video to mark the assignment as complete. If they close that video with a millisecond left on the playing time, it does not credit them for it. The good news is when they go back to the video, it starts up where they last left off. So they would only have to watch that last second to make it click. Now I'm a little bit more selective about doing that. And the reason is when they're working on these assignments, there's little links in here that say watch the video when they're doing it. So if a kid gets stuck, they can click the little thing that pulls up the video and watch it at that time, which is nice. So I just kind of look through these and I pick the ones that I like and I assign them. Let's take a look at what we have assigned right now. So I'm going to click Manage. This is my first period class. Right now, these are the current assignments that are pending. So Intro to Logarithms, they had to watch a video, and 32 of my 36 students have done it. Here's an article they had to read, 33 have done it. Here's some practice problems. See how it says exercises? 33 out of 36 have done it. So all in all, the kids are doing a pretty good job getting these guys done as I scroll down. At the very end was a quiz, and 20 out of 36 have done that. I think they have until Sunday to finish this. If I want to look at these, I can go to scores page here. The check marks just are like videos and documents to read. Here it shows how many points they got on the activity. They can do the activity as many times as they want till they get a perfect score. I'm fine with something like this. You see Kayleen here got a 75. I just want to see him doing it. I really only have a problem if I see zeros. Like this one with 25%. Melissa's better than that, so I could shoot her an email and say, hey, Melissa, why don't you retry that activity and see if you can do a little bit better. But most of them are doing good. Now, something else that may be jumping out at you is the kids that are checking out. Let's pick on Russell. Where did he go? I saw him in here somewhere. Russell Morales. You can see him right here. He has done absolutely nothing on this assignment. And if I go back and look at prior assignments, I'll see that he's done nothing on them either. So I've been emailing back and forth with his dad for quite a few days. My district is asking that we do this very gently because the kids are under a lot of stress. A lot of them are sharing computers and different things. So I'm not pushing him real hard. But it's kind of nice just to be able to look on there and see who's not doing anything. When it's all done, I can download all this information and I can type it into Aries. Tracy, you're probably aware that you can go straight to Google Classroom with this information also. So if you do decide that you're going to use Google Classroom, it works really good. Let me show you a couple of things that I do here that are kind of neat. So my kids have two different types of assignments. I'm going to go in as a student now. And here I am, Barrow, first period, Math 45H. This is my Math 2-3 honors class. They have two groups of assignments. They have assignments. There's the assignments that we were just looking at that are pending. But I also assigned them mastery at the beginning. You've got a lot to say. Their goal when I started this thing was to get 90% mastery of the entire Math 3 course on Khan Academy. Now, I've had students come to me and say, Mr. Barrow, I want to raise my grade. Our district has frozen grades from third quarter. So if they had a C third quarter, they can't get worse than a C. If they have a B for third quarter, they can't get worse than a B. Well, some students have come in and go, hey, I had a C at third quarter, but I don't want a C. I want a B or I want an A. I am tying it to this. And what they do is they click on it, and this one they do on their own. So they can test through this polynomial arithmetic unit. They can work the problems and go through it, and once they master it, they get the mastery points, and they move on. And this is old material that we did. So they go through the polynomial mastery, and then when they're all done with that, factoring polynomials, synthetic and polynomial long division, graphing. When they do the homework in logarithms, it gives them credit in their mastery also, so they don't have to do the double work. So just by doing their homework, they're getting the mastery done on this logarithms unit. Right now, actually, I think I pulled up the week 3 or 4 stuff. We're in trigonometry right now. I'm not going to get to all of these this year. Many of them I've already done. There's probably 1 or 2 topics that I'm just not going to make it to. So that's how I'm using Khan Academy. Like I said, 2 sets of assignments. The regular assignments, I'm assigning them a week. Every week, I give them an assignment, and I give them 2 weeks to do it so they overlap. And then the course mastery, and every kid has that. And the way you do that is you go into your teacher dashboard, you pick a period, and under here under course mastery, when you click placement, you select all students. So just go to all students, and you select what course you want them to master. I want them to master Math 3, and then click Save Changes, and boom, it emails them all and says, hey, you have a goal. Your mastery goal is 90% mastery of the entire Math 3 course on Khan Academy. So Khan Academy is doing a good job of giving them practice problems and making it to where I don't have to teach everything, so that I can just teach the foundation. It's like I wind them up and get them started, and then Khan Academy takes over from there. And then the ones that get lost are seeing me on office hours. And it's, in my opinion, it's working fabulously. Almost makes me wonder why I was teaching lessons 5 days a week in class. You know, I almost feel like moving forward as a teacher, I might just teach lessons 1 day a week in class, maybe 2, and then spend the other days working practice problems and doing enhancements to my lessons. Okay, last thing that I wanted to show you guys is how I assess the kids. So assessment is via Edulastic, and Edulastic is free, which is nice. Now you can write assessments and put them on Schoology or put them in your Google Classroom, but then you have to make them. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. There's a million teachers that have already made cool quizzes and cool tests, and they are cataloged and available for you on Edulastic. So make yourself an account, and what you do is you build your classrooms. So I have all 5 of my classes, pre-calculus 5th period, pre-calculus 4th period, and I don't know why Edulastic doesn't put them in order. It's kind of weird. You give the kids a class code, and they enroll in it. And then you just pick a test. If I want to add a new assessment, I click New Assessment here, and I can create one, or I can just browse. I've just been browsing them. I feel like I said, why reinvent the wheel? I can sort them by grade. I can sort them by subject. I can sort them by the Common Core standards, however I want to do it. Or I can just put in keywords up here. Here we're doing trigonometry. And it'll find me some trigonometry tests. And you can preview them. So you look it over and you go, oh, I like that. That's a pretty cool test here. You can click through the questions and see what it's asking them. And if you like it, then you assign it to your kids. And what I love about this is it grades it automatically. I don't want to mess around grading all of this stuff, you know. I mean, that's just too much. So after they do the quiz, so let's look here at logarithms. Let's see how my first period students are doing here. Let's look at their responses. And I'm in the Express Grader view, which just gives me a summary. Or I can look at this one and check out independent students. So if I want to see how, here we go, Vanessa. If I want to look at her question by question, I can scroll through and see it question by question. But I just want to see the Express Grader and see how the kids are doing as a whole. So here they all are, and there's their score right there. So Jonathan got a 97, Vanessa 93, going on. So the kids are doing pretty good on this thing. Jennifer, I can reopen it and let her go back. When I reopen it, I can reopen it to where she only has to do the problems that she misses. In a normal environment, that may not be ideal, but in this time of distance learning where we're trying to be as accommodating as we can for the kids, they really appreciate that. You can just make them keep taking it till they get them all right, which is kind of nice. And then once they do, boom, you give them however many points for that assignment versus making it, you know, oh, you got an A or a B or a C. When it comes to my assessments, I just want to know, hey, can you do this if I give you unlimited number of chances? This one will also migrate grades over to Google Classroom as well. So if you're using Google Classroom, you're in business because Khan Academy has got your back, and so does Edulastic. So here it is, the 3 technologies. Schoology is my homeroom. That's the platform where I am posting all my videos and all my stuff, telling kids what to do. Khan Academy, that's where they're practicing, and that's where they're seeing their videos and doing the work and all that stuff. Here's what the students would be doing. That's what the students would be seeing right here. Edulastic, that's where I'm assessing them. I can create assessments question by question. I can write my own questions or just pick some other teacher's assessment that's already been done. And combine all that information. I usually just print it off about once a week. And I go to Aries and I type it in and I update it. And that's it. And it seems to work really, really, really well. Let me show you my schedule. And I think after that, I better just answer questions. So on all of my courses, I posted Mr. Barrow's schedule here. And this has morphed since the beginning because the district kept changing things. Like I set up my own schedule and then they said, oh no, you can't do that because some other teacher needs that time period. And finally our district got together and they go, okay, Monday through Friday, first period is got 8:30 to 9. Nobody can mess with that time frame. It's first period only, 8:30 to 9 the whole week. 9 to 9:30 for second period, 9:30 to 10 for third period. Then in the afternoons here. So if I schedule my first period class during this time frame, I don't have to worry that some English teacher or history teacher has scheduled at the same time because they have me first period. And it's worked pretty well. Some of the kids complain about being in the virtual classroom at 8:30 in the morning. Mr. Barrow, it's so early. It's 8:30 in the morning. I don't know about your kids. Most of mine are staying up till 3 or 4 in the morning. I look on
Yes.
and Schoology will tell me when they're going on, and so will Khan Academy. And man, some 3 in the morning they're goofing around on there, and I like that. I think that's great, you know. So so there's my schedule. As you can see, I'm only live with them this one time during the week. The rest of the time, they're looking at videos from me, videos from YouTube, or videos from Khan Academy. Now, they did ask us to put in stone some office hours. So I put mine on Thursday here, but each week I notify my kids. I usually do office hours Tuesday after third period, Wednesday after fifth period, and a little bit on Friday too. I'll also let a kid email me. Like my virtual classroom is set up and they'll go, Mr. Barrow, I'm really, really stuck. And I'll be like, do you need to work on this right now? Yes, please. And we'll both just pop into the virtual classroom, which is kind of nice. You can do it with Zoom. I use Google Meet because my district is making us. Our Google Meet is where the domain is restricted. So only the kids have to have the @AUHSD email to log in, and it works pretty good. All right, guys, that's the virtual classroom. That's how I run things. There was a comment on here. That's a great rate of participation. I credit emailing, and getting parents involved. Now, also, I teach honor students, so that is going to be skewed by the fact that I have all the good kids. I have honor students and pre-calc students. Now, in years past, I've taught a lot of ninth graders and even remedial math, so I know that you can't expect that. Someone, let's see here, looks like Hong put, is Edulastic the same test for each student, any randomization of questions? You can make it give different questions for each student, but you need to put together a much, much, much larger question bank. So some of the tests that you will find are like that. The teacher's already done that for you. Some of them are not. But one thing it does do is it changes the order of the questions for students, which is nice. I know that you're concerned about cheating, and let me tell you, in this current environment of distance learning, we can't stop it. Kids are going to airdrop assignments, and they're going to post assignments on all social media and what have you. So it's really, really a tough thing to prevent them from doing. Obviously, when you give a kid an online test, it's automatically open book, open note, open Wolfram Alpha, open, you know, my big brother, whoever they can get help from, they're doing it. And there isn't much we can do to do that. But to answer your question, yes, that is available. There are teachers who have put tests on there with rotating problems. Just select one of those. You're going to find it's a little hit or miss because you pull up a test that's made by another teacher, and there may be topics on there that you didn't cover because you covered them elsewhere. And so the struggle is finding a test that fits your needs, meaning it's only got the topics on there that you want, while at the same time providing the fail-safe measures you're talking about for anti-cheating. For one of my assessments, I had to pick two. I couldn't find one assessment with everything, but not a ton of additional. So I found two smaller ones and put them together as one, and that worked really, really well. So hopefully I answered your question there. Hey guys, thanks for letting me take up so much time. I'm sorry about all the hiccups.
This has been great. This is so great. Like, I love listening to you talk about your class. I have teenagers in high school, so I wish they were in your class. They have great teachers, but man, you're doing great things for kids in math in high school. So are there any other, I don't think there's any other questions. So it'll take about a week for the recording to get posted to our YouTube channel. Site is changing URL, but it's going to look a little different, but we're working to make it as a smoother transition as possible. So if you guys just go to rcta.org/IPD trainings, this will be up in a Andy, do you have any, you had so many great things to share. Do you have any, I guess, screenshots or anything you could share with me, and I could put them in a folder for people?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
I will link a video that I made just a couple of days ago about students checking out. I have had a real issue with that on especially my A students. When the district sent out that mandate that said third quarter grades are frozen, my A students immediately figured out, oh, I don't have to do any more work. I even had a parent email me that, hey, my kid's got an A and you can't give them less than that, so la-di-da. So I made a video explaining why kids can't do that. to give them another intrinsic motivation to stay checked in to do that. The kids that are trying to raise their grade are doing the work. The kids that don't care are not doing the work, but also the other ones that are bailing on me are the A students. And if you're a pre-calculus student and you bail right now, you're going to have a hard time in calculus next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I made a video. I will provide a link to that video for you, and any teachers are allowed to link it to whatever classroom that you want. And yeah, I think I have a whole bunch of information, but what I want to give everybody, I think, real quick before you go here is my email address. So if you guys have questions or you need some help with something, you can get a hold of me directly. I'm happy to help you with that. So give me just a second here, and I'm just going to share a Word doc with you real quick. Microsoft Word share. Okay, hopefully you can see the Word doc. My email address is my last name, and then it's underscore my first initial, A for Andrew, and it's at Anaheim Union High School District, auhsd.us. Our district was kind of nice, and they didn't put all those suffixes on there. So my name is Andrew Barrow, and you guys are welcome to contact me for anything if you want to talk about an Interwrite pad. If you're interested in an Interwrite pad, I would strongly suggest that you ask your district IT department to go dig through their shelves in the back. Back in like 2007, 2008, 2009, every school was getting these. It was like the flavor of the month. And teachers they weren't really prepared for it. So a lot of them just got put on shelves, you know? So I would be willing to bet there's at least a few of these floating around your district somewhere to save you from having to buy one. The only issue you may have there is sometimes the batteries are kind of old. So you don't get that 1 week battery life. You get a day's battery life instead, which is still fine. So
that's an excellent idea. That is a great idea. And I was teaching during that time. So great idea. So awesome. This was really thorough, and man, you make me miss the classroom. This is so great. Thank you so much for taking time away from your family, all of you for being here. And, you know, I bet you guys are all doing great work out there, and it's okay if you mess up or things don't go as planned. That's just the reality. So anyways, take care, everyone. Thank you again, Andy.
you're very welcome. Bye, Karen. Bye, everybody.
See you all later. Bye-bye.